Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Now that we've got the big 100 modern quilt block quilt piece and off the table, we're going to start another project. Actually 2 projects, because you know you finish one and you start 2 more. I know that math does not sound right, but if you're a quilter, a crafter, a knitter, crocheter, someone who's into the arts, you know what I'm talking about. And it's perfectly okay. So, but one of these projects is one that I've wanted to start for a while. I'm actually behind. Actually, people in my online quilt group are finishing it up, and I haven't even cut the first piece yet. But the other one is something I want to do for National Jelly Roll Day, which is mid-September, I think 21st, 22nd, is Moda's National Sew a Jelly Roll Day. So, and I always do something on Jelly Roll Day, even if it's just something little. But this is going to be, you know, a normal size quilt. I'm going to be sewing, and I will bring you along with me from the process of cutting to piecing to putting it together. A quilt from this book I picked up last year called Simply Jelly Rolls. It is by It's So Emma from part of Fat Quarter Shop, and I love this book in that they all look very simple and easy, but I picked one of the easier ones. I love how they name the quilts in here. I can show you that page. You can see it. I have a little glare. But we have the baguette, the bakewell, the baklava, the biscuit, the brioche, caramel, ciabatta, cornbread, custard, eclair, focaccia, pretzel, pumpernickel, scones, souffle, and sourdough. Sounds delicious, right? I know. I'm going to actually be sewing the baklava, mainly because I love baklava. It's one of my favorite desserts. I am not Greek, but I feel Greek in my heart and in my stomach, because Greek food just sings to my soul. And so we will be doing the baklava quilt. It's simple, easy piecing. I'll show you another picture without kind of showing you the measurements and stuff. Right here, it's some little short strip pieces, longer strip pieces, all put together. And it does kind of look like baklava, because baklava is a bunch of layers of phyllo dough. And in between there's some nuts and some sugar and honey and all the delicious buttery goodness and stuff like that. And I've made a few trays of baklava, but I don't make it anymore, mainly because I have no gallbladder and a host of medical problems that make digesting straight butter very, very difficult. So, and if I'm going to make a tray of baklava, I'm going to eat the whole tray of baklava, well, with my family. So I'll be eating more than just one little tiny piece. So I wait until fall and spring. Here in our area, we have a Greek Orthodox church that puts on a fall festival and a spring festival. And I go there and I buy baklava, and they have there's different types of phyllo desserts, not just baklava, and they're all so delicious. So I get like the sampler pack, and I eat them, and I enjoy them, but then I don't have a whole tray laying around. And it's fun to go listen to the Greek music. They have bands, they have vendors set up, they have Greek wine tastings and Greek wine for sale. They have, you know, a lot of their parishioners have, you know, crafts and businesses, you know, crafty businesses that they set up down there, and it's really cool. So that's the first week of October here, and I'm excited because I'm going to go down there, get me some baklava again, and I'm enjoy it. But until then, we're going to celebrate with making a jelly roll quilt in the baklava pattern. Now, since it's getting close to fall, and I'm feeling fall-y, if not Halloween, even though, as you can tell, I've got this lovely little sweater on that's got pumpkins and cats, but that's just because I'm cold, because it's cold here today in Georgia for some reason. But I am going to be using this jelly roll I got free when I ordered a whole bunch of fabric about a year ago. It's called Wildberry Creek by Renee Nanaman from Andover. It's not a jelly roll. Well, it's 2.5 inch strips, which is a jelly roll. They call it a double scoop. So, it looks like it's from Maycower, UK. So it's British fabric, probably, but made by Andover. Kind of like Liberty is. But, it's called Wildberry Creek. It's really pretty. I don't know if you can see the colors. To me, it reminds me of like late summer, early fall. You've got oranges, purples, some little lighter blue, you know, some of those fall blues, and, you know, a few like tans, off-whites, yellows, just, you know, a whole bunch of fall. Look at it, that's got even acorns on it. So I'm going to call it fall, even though it's called Wildberry. Though here, maybe in the UK, they have more berries in the fall. I know we have grapes in the fall here, but most of our berries, our blackberries, our blueberries and strawberries and stuff, are usually spring to early summer here because we get extremely hot. But maybe up north, where they're in England and the northern part of our country here, maybe the berries come a little later. You can let me know if you're from UK or you're from northern United States or Canada. You can let me know when your berry season is. I know ours is pretty early. Like, we go strawberry picking in April and all through May. But I love the grape colors in here. You know, the very grape tones. The greens, there's some sage greens, some more kind of tannish greens, kind of tawny colors. But this looks beautiful, and I think it would make a good kind of end of summer, beginning of fall transition quilt for me. There's not a lot of whites in here, which is why I picked it too, because I'm going to need the majority of these fabrics, 32 of them to be exact, but I may make a few extra blocks since it looks like I got enough to, and make it a little bigger. You know, we'll see. Or maybe use those for the binding. So I'm going to use this, and for the background, I'm going to use this Kona Natural that I bought. And as you can see, I got some Jelly Roll flakes on it, but it's also got some like little black flecks in it, or brown flecks from the natural cotton. It's not really dyed. It's not really bleached, but it's kind of just a natural color, like kind of like sometimes that natural muslin you can get where it's not dyed, and it's kind of got a stiffer feel to it. Feels thicker to me. It's got a thicker weave on it, but it's pretty. I'm going to use this. I'm also using this as the background in my sew along quilt called Joy Filled from Corey Yoder that I should have started 4 months ago, but I've been so busy and not feeling well, and I'm finally going to get started with it. But, so fixing to get started. I'm going to cut up. I'll film, but it'll be quiet because I can't tell you how to cut this up, but I'm going to start cutting up my background pieces and my jelly roll tonight, and then tomorrow we're going to start piecing, and it's just going to be one big hodgepodge on this video. But, you know, I'll kind of go through the process. I'll talk a little bit as I'm cutting or as I'm piecing. Just say, okay, this is the block A, block B, and then as we get it together. So if you want to sew along with me, grab you a book. If you have this book, grab you a jelly roll and about 3 2/3 yards of background fabric, and you're good to go. guys, I'm back. I wanted to show you how I kind of chose what fabrics I'm going to be using in the quilt, because like I said, we really only need 32, and I may use more. We'll see. But for right now, I'm pulling these lights, which were the only lights in there really. They're not really light. I mean, the only one that's really light is this one. It's not that light. And it's actually got pumpkins on it, so I may keep it, or I may use it for binding. I don't know. But it is cute. So, well, they kind of look like pumpkins. I don't know what that is. It looks like a dandelion mixed with a pumpkin. It's very interesting. I like it. And looks like some currants, maybe. And then some florals, 2 big florals. And then this little ferny looking orange and light color. So 1, 2, 3. I still have more than enough here. And since there's doubles of some, I may just use one. Like, I'm not a really big fan of this color here. This kind of dark, almost brownish black color here. I'm not a big fan of it. It's got the pumpkin on it though. I might keep it, but it's just so hard. So hard to. But I may cull that one and a couple of other the chocolate tones, because I'm just not a big fan of brown, but we'll see. I'll cut them all up in the way that it says, and then I'll decide, you know. And I've got more than enough background fabric. I have a few orphan blocks that just don't make the cut, then I can use them for pillowcases or pillow shams or something like that, because this could be a good throw. But that's what I'm planning on now, is all of these over here, if you can see. Oh. Right there. You can see these right here are my keepers. These are maybes. And like I said, we'll see. We may end up just using them all, make a few extra blocks, and making it, you know, a rectangle, or if I have enough, make it just a bigger square, make almost a queen size. But we'll see. So stay tuned. Next up, we're gonna cut these bad boys. All right, guys. I am back. I didn't get to cut last night. I got a horrible earache. I've been having some sinus stuff. So, you know, I took some Advil and went to sleep. But hopefully it's not an ear infection. If it comes back, I'm definitely going to the doctor. But other than that, so I'm starting cutting this morning. And what I've done is I've grouped all the colors together. That way it's easier for me to cut. I can just cut groups. And also, when I put them in my project box, which is over here, excuse the mess. I know my quilt room is messy. I'm lacking in space, and then things just collapse and everything. But here's my fresh, clean project bin, where I cleaned out another project that I'd finished. And there's Nutmeg. She's coming to help. She's going to go lay on her fabric and help me. But, so I'm going to cut these up according to the pattern directions. And then I'll start on the background. So stay tuned. All right, guys. Back again for a little update on the cutting. I have got everything except the wide outside borders cut, because I may, just depending on, you know, if I intend to make it bigger or whatnot, I always kind of wait on my outside borders, because generally I make them bigger because I always like big quilts. So, you know, I waited on those because they were a specific size, and I wanted to make sure that, you know, I'll get the main top together and then I'll decide on the outside border, which is supposed to be the background fabric. So, but sometimes, like, I always like a color border on the outside. So I may do like a thinner background border inner border and then an outside border later, but we'll see. I have a lot of scraps left, like pretty much half a jelly roll or a third of a jelly roll of strips left. So this will be either good for binding or, like I said, if I want to make more blocks, go ahead. I have the A blocks, which are the shorter blocks, and then I have the B blocks, which are the longer blocks. Then I have the C blocks, which are the long background squares, and the D blocks, which are the shorter background squares. And then the sashings in between the rows right here, which is E, I believe, but I didn't cut F. So we're ready. So I'm gonna start piecing. I'll tune y'all in, and so you can watch me piece a little bit. We'll do a few A blocks and we'll do a few B blocks, and then I'll put the whole thing together and you'll get to see the finished product probably within the next day. Alright guys, so we are back. I just showed you everything was cut. Now we're going to start piecing. We need to make 32 of the small units, which are the small rectangles, 2 colored and 1 background, sandwiched together, kind of like an Italian flag, or a Mexican flag, or, you know, one of those type flags. But we need to make 32 of these. So I'm going to start on those, and I'll show you how I piece. I think everybody knows how to piece, but if you don't, pretty sides together. Underneath your thing, my foot pedal got pushed. Let me move it out where I can reach it. Okay. Just try to keep it as consistent seam allowances. Mine's always a little more than 1/4 of an inch, but as long as everything's about the same, it all will line up. So take this one, we'll put it on this side, and press in between because it's just 3 pieces together, and I'll press all of these afterwards. But here's 1 block of the small units. Like I said, we need 32. So let's choose some others. If you want to see, I kind of got my colors spread out so that I can make some choices so I don't get 2 of the same. So let's do a blue background. And let's say this orange. That looks good. So again, pretty sides together. The background really doesn't have a pretty side, so it doesn't matter. But if you were using a low volume with a print on it, you would put it facing the other pretty side. Do this. So we have a blue, we have an orange, and a white in the middle. I like it. It's natural. And I love the feel of this natural Kona. It feels, to me, heavier duty, like almost like muslin. Probably is, and they just labeled it as such, but I like it. It feels durable. But you can, like I said, because we're going to be turning them all different ways. But, so that's 2. So 30 more to go. Let's see, what do I want to do next? I'm still debating on the light ones. Got a lot of orange, a lot of blue, a lot of green. got these chocolate colors. So let's do a chocolate color. I like this one. It's got the blue in it. And we'll do one of these blues. How about this one with the pretty kind of ivy looking leaves? And a light. And all these pretty sides together, and you can sew them in any direction. So this one first. Oh, this. And this one. Got this one looking good. Let's see, let's do an orange and I think I'm going to just use all of these. We'll do an orange and this kind of floral with one in the middle. See how that looks. If we don't like it, we can always rip it out. Another one. These are going to go fast, so I'll be back in probably about an hour to show you how to lost thread, but it was at the end. All right, I'm going to rethread my machine, and that looks good. Finish up these 32 guys. I may just make more until I've used up all my pieces so that, you know, I'll have extras, but yeah, this is going to go fast. I'll probably have this done today. May not have it laid out today and all together, but I'll have all the components sewed together today. So stay tuned. All right, guys, we are back. I have all the little rectangle sections sewn together. I've got them pressed. Now we're on to step 2 to make a larger block out of these. And what it looks like on the pattern, I'm going to cover up the instructions, but it looks like we're going to do one vertical, one horizontal with a small piece in between, and then a large rectangle in between that, and then the opposite to make 8 of these. But I'm obviously going to have more because I just did all of my strips. And I had to cut a few more of these because some of these are actually used in this block. So, but we are there. So what we're going to do, you can see right here, let's move a little bit so you can see up, and we do one vertical, one horizontal, see if we can find some different ones. I've got so many colors. That are mixed together here. And then we need a strip. And then we're going to need horizontal and a vertical. Let's see. I want something with a little bit of contrast. Maybe a purple. purple and blue. Let's see here. Purple and orange. Purple and blue. What about this one? These are going to be hard because I'm going to be like questioning every move. But, yeah. So like that. You can see. Bring it around a little bit. There we go. And then another strip in between. Right here. And that'll make our first block. And then I'm just going to repeat that with these until I get all of them together. And I'll show you the finished product. So stay tuned. Alright guys, we're back. I have all of the first block in this kind of 2-block quilt done. As you can see, found out I had 10 when I was only supposed to make 8, so I got 2 extras. So we'll see what we get out of this. I may have to cut some of the leftovers down to make more blocks, but we'll see. But yeah, quick and easy. So now we're gonna make our next block. We have the B jelly roll strips and our C long rectangle strips, background fabric. And we are going to piece them together according to the pattern directions, which is basically 2, 3, 4 colored strips with 3 background strips in between. So we're probably going to do similar to what we did last time. I'm going to divide up the colors a little bit so that I get a good smattering of color. I only ended up with that last block that you saw on top of the smaller ones that had a lot of orange in it. All the others were pretty well dispersed, but there's quite a few more orange than there are other colors in this. So divide these up into sections so that we can get a good disbursement of color between the blocks. So these right here. Alright, so let's see here. Start with the colored one, and a background one, and another colored one, and a background one. And then we'll do another colored one, and a background one, and then a colored one. What color should we use? Green or this? We'll go with green. Okay, so just like that, we have our blocks, and we're supposed to make 8 of these. And I'm probably going to get 9, and like I said, I may have to cut up a few more just to get a few more extra, but we'll see. We're going to get the main body done first, and then we'll decide on that point what we want to do. Or I may just have 2 pillow blocks, like for our couch pillows, because they're about 14 inches square. All right. So I'm going to sew these up. Stay tuned. Be back to show you the finished product. Alright guys, welcome back. I am on my last block before we start putting sashings and constructing. I ended up with 10, I think, of the small blocks, the 4 patches, and then these larger strip blocks. I'm going to end up with 10 as well. So Let's take a look real quick to see how many rows we got. 1, 2, 3, 4. So guess what? I'm gonna be able to add a whole nother row on here. So, which will make the quilt center bigger than 62.5 by 62 because it says 62.5 by 62.5. So we add another 14-inch block on there. Yeah. It's probably going to be more rectangular, but that's okay. We can deal with that. So, yeah, see. What we're going to start doing after I get this last block done is putting it together, which I'll do tomorrow. As you can see, I'm in my pajamas. I did quilt until noon today, then I ate lunch, talked with my husband because he was here for a few extra days. He's usually in Alabama during the week. And then I took a nap with my big Maine Coon cat because fatigue. I wasn't able to take my RA meds on Saturday due to a prescription error. And they had to go through the whole process again of approving, which takes time, so I missed a dose. But I went ahead and got my flu shot, so I took advantage of that because I'm not supposed to be on my meds when I take the flu shot or the COVID shot. So I went ahead and did the flu shot. So I, use that constructive time, but my fatigue is like doubled. I'm a little weak in this hand and just not feeling too great. So I figured a nap would recharge me. And my cat, of course, climbed on my chest and decided it was nap time for her too. And when a cat falls asleep on you, you just have to stay there till they wake up. It's the rules of a good cat mom. And I'm a good cat mom. Just joking. I would have knocked her off if I needed to get up. But so, yeah. So let's just go ahead real quick. So this last one I have, let me turn my speed down. I was chain piecing and just putting the pedal to the metal. Just trying to get these done tonight so that I can get cutting on my quilt that I was supposed to start 4 months ago as a sew along, so that I can at least catch up a little bit and say, look, I did one block tomorrow. But it should take probably an hour in the morning to put together. So I'm going to show you some chain piecing. If you're not familiar with it, it's just you keep adding pieces as you go, and then you flip the threads and sew those pieces to each other. So here's our first piece. And then our next piece. I love the pumpkins on this. They look like pumpkins. It kind of looks like dandelions and pumpkins. Hey now, stop knocking all my stuff over. Get out of my bags. Got a problem on the floor. And then we're gonna do this one. Two. And then we do our third. And this is gonna be beautiful. I'm just loving these colors. I kind of go through phases. I don't know if you do too, of what colors you like. Like in the spring, I love pastels. And I'm actually working on a pastel English paper piece quilt. It's a grandmother's flower garden, and I'll show you guys one day. Probably when I start putting it together. I'm just doing it in my spare time whenever my hands will allow me to. It may take a while, but, and that one, I'm just loving the pastels and the way it's going to turn out. And this one, I'm loving these fall colors because I am ready for fall. It has been a hot, hot summer. So now I have, like, look, big old string of pieces. And I'm going to clip them. Take the connections away. Just like so. And then I'm going to sew this last piece onto this piece here. Like so. I'm so ready for cooler weather. It's been cool the past week. Like, it's been in the low 80s, like upper 70s and cooler in the mornings here in Georgia. strange because it's usually near 90 until Halloween. And those are absolutely wonderful. And I've made chili already. I am fixing to start like up in my soup game because, like I said, my fatigue has not been the greatest. So probably the worst aspect, even above pain, that RA can have, or any autoimmune disease. And it's just, you know, I feel so bad and feel so lazy, but I literally have no energy to do stuff sometimes. And you know, all I can do is lay my head down. But I'm gonna up my soup game because I can throw soups in the Instant Pot or the crock pot in the morning, and we have dinner at night. I make some cornbread real quick, some biscuits, or even heat up a loaf of sourdough bread to go with those two crackers. And my kids love soup. One of my kids loves soup. The other one, he'll eat it, but my daughter loves soup, so definitely want to kind of lean into the soups over the fall this time. It's usually, like I said, in Georgia here, we really don't get fall until close to winter time, especially where I'm at. So, you know, I'm just going to keep an eye on the weather, and anytime it's in the low 80s to, or below, we're going to crack out of soup. And I can eat it the next day for lunch. Awesome sauce. So as you can see here, I just sewed all of those sections that I had joined together. And we have our last block, just like so. Can go either way. It's actually going to be flipped. They're going to be flipped around a lot, but so I have got. I'll press it out, but I've got 10 of these, so we can add an extra row and make it rectangular if we want. This baklava can go in any size dish. I usually do it in a big 13 by 9 inch pan, so it's always a rectangle. And then that way I can adjust my borders and stuff. So that's why I didn't cut a lot of the border pieces and the sashing pieces, is because I knew I might want to make it bigger. I mean, I could probably do another row on the top. I'll think about it overnight, but I would need 5. I don't know if I have enough for 5. Because I kind of want to use these for a scrappy binding right here. I mean, I probably do, but I would need, depending on which row started, 1, 2, 3. I would need 3 of these and 2 of the short 4 patches. If I did one for the top row, and if I did it for the bottom row, it would be the same. It would be the opposite. So we'll see. I kind of want to use that for scrappy binding and just kind of use every part of this jelly roll, because I'm not going to put a colored border around it. I think it would be beautiful without it. And so I think it's going to be beautiful. It's going to be going on my couch with me when it gets quilted. Probably be next fall by the time it gets quilted, if we're realistic. Because I'm still working on stuff from last year, trying to get it quilted. I try at least 1 or 2 tops a month to get them on my frame. I'm fixing to put one my daughter made on there, just because she's had it made for 2 months, and I told her 2 months ago I'd quilt it, and I just hadn't got to it because we've been so busy and not feeling well. And so I'm gonna get that one on this weekend, and then I'm probably gonna start working on I have one from last July. That was a retreat quilt, and 2 from last September when one of my local quilt shops did a jelly roll contest, and I made 2, but I only took 1 to be submitted. 2 jelly roll quilts that I did. They're Christmas themed. They're Christmas wiener dogs, wieners and sweaters by Stacy Etsu. I can show you those in a little short. Probably get started quilting on those because I have the backings, I have batting, I even have the binding cut and pressed and sewn together for one of them. So yeah, I'm gonna work on those and, you know, try to push through some, because it does take a week to get things on my quilt frame, and then I can be on this a little bit while I'm watching the quilt on the quilt frame, but because I have a small frame, it gets done very quickly. So once I like start stitching here, I have to go over there and move the quilt and, you know, pull the bobbin threads and, you know, mark everything and start it back up. So I kind of try to alternate doing actual stitching and then that, and lately I've been just sitting here doing English paper piecing while that works, or binding a quilt by hand, doing the finishing on them and stuff. So, but yeah, I'm super excited to get this one done, and I'll have 3 quilts to show on Saturday, and 1 very appropriate for Jelly Roll Day, so, which is that Saturday. So, and I will get this video probably posted Friday night or Saturday morning, with pictures, but my goal is to get this finished tomorrow in the morning, probably between 6 and 7, because that's when I wait for my daughter to get on the bus. And I usually come in here, and that's when I get most of my quilt stuff done, because I'm up, I'm awake, I've had my cup of coffee, and I'm good to go. So, but I've rambled on more than I probably should, but if you've been sewing with me on this Jelly Roll quilt, or if you've been sewing on a Jelly Roll quilt while you're doing this, while you're watching this video, or if this inspires you to pull out a Jelly Roll and get quilting, yay. And, you know, tell me about it in the comments. Tell me what you've done. Tell me your thoughts on this book. You know, I love just about everything that Fat Quarter Shop puts out, and it's so Emma. I think up at this one, I think the baby quilt one. I have a few, and I have like 2 of the Jolly Bar ones maybe, or 3, I don't know. But I just love them. I haven't made anything out of most of them. This was the first one I think I've actually made something out of. But I love it. They're simple. They're really beginner friendly. If you've never sewn a quilt before, you could do this pattern. It's not a lot of cutting. It's real simple piecing. It's just 2 blocks, and you basically repeat those 2 blocks. I kind of love those quilts, especially when you want something for mindless sewing and you don't want to have to think about a lot of stuff like where does this piece go, and did I flip it the wrong way? This one's basically, as long as you look at the layout, it's bomb proof. You know, you got it. Oh, hi. We have a friend. We haven't seen Miss Pumpkin in a while. She usually doesn't come in here and bother me anymore, because the little one is taking her spot. But this is Pumpkin. Pumpkin was a show queen. She got many ribbons the other weekend. She was the most beautiful torty kitty in all the land. And yes, I'm making a funny voice and talking to my cat and probably making a fool of myself, but that's just life, and we enjoy it. Jesus, put me down, Mother. You're embarrassing me. But yep. So stay tuned for the last and final clip of this, where I throw it all together, and then I'll see if I can get my tall son to help take a picture of it. If not, I'll figure out a way to get a good picture of it. Maybe just throw it out on the lawn and, Sometimes I usually do that if the grass is not too dirty and dry and stuff. So, but stay tuned. Thanks for continuing watching this video. Have a good day. All right, guys. So here we are. It is finished. It is 5 rows by 4 rows, or 5 by 4. So basically, let's see here. There's 20 blocks, 4 horizontal, 5 vertical rows. And I'm going to use, I decided not to make another row. I just I'm going to use the leftover strips as a scrappy binding. I think it'll be just enough. I may have to supplement with a few more pieces, but I think I've got something that'll work. But it is gorgeous. I love it. It's simple. It's easy. I could have got this done in an entire day had I worked all day yesterday, but I stopped, like I said, around noon and then came back and I sewed for an hour in the evening, right before bedtime. And then this morning I pieced all the blocks together, put the sashing in between, and then I did a 5-inch border instead of it called for a little bit of a smaller border. So I added a little bit of width to it since I added another row. And so yeah, this is going to be a great throw. It's even twin size. As you can see, I love masking tape. Just as a tip, if you want masking tape is just, I use it for marking points on my quilt frame on the fabric there, but I also have started using it to label pieces. I'll leave that one there so I know what side's top. It really doesn't matter, but I was labeling rows because these rows are oriented a certain way. You have to look at the layout. They are oriented a certain way, so I wanted to missing one there, but it must have fell off. But so I labeled the rows to make sure I got them in the right place, because I'm notorious for putting things on upside down or in the wrong place. So I did that. But yeah, it is beautiful. I will try to get a picture of it outside with my tall child this afternoon. It's raining right now, but when he gets home from Escuela, we will see. Here's Miniman. Hi, Miniman. Hi, Mommy Mun this morning. She says, I'm not talking to you. She's been miffed at me since we brought the new little kitten home. Whoa. And of course they all do this. No, let's not tear up Mommy's new quilt. Life with cats. What can I say? Alrighty. Well, as you can see, I'll have to press it again. But it is done. I am satisfied with it. And I can't wait to quilt it. I'm probably going to do something either with grapes, because there are a lot of grapes on it. As you can see. Good Lord, cat. She is a mess. They're all a mess. Or I may just do something with some vines. I think I have one that has some leaves and vines. Just something that's simple, but, you know, I haven't decided what color thread I want to use. If I want to use just kind of an off-white or a bone color to kind of blend into the natural, or if I want to use a variegated fall color to make it stand out. I'm just not sure. But like I said, this probably won't get done until next year, so we'll see. Depends on how fast I want to get it done. But so stay tuned for a finishing photo at the end, and then, you know, happy National Sew a Jelly Roll Day. Get out a jelly roll grab you a book or a pattern, a Jelly Roll friendly pattern, or just start sewing some strips together and make something beautiful today. So, adios, guys. Say bye, me, man. She says, man. Bye-bye, guys.